We're excited to welcome you to the podcast, Brent and David Nickles. I'm going to call you Brent Nickles, CEO and co-founder of JDS1 Marketing.
That's right.
We're going to start this conversation. The name of the podcast is called Most People Don't, but You Do. And for our listeners, I was able to meet Brent a couple of weeks ago at a David Meltzer event, New York City meetup, panel discussion, VIP dinner. Met some really cool people. And toward the end of the evening, I answered some questions and I shared some stories. And then toward the end of the evening, I'm there passing out business cards and gratitude stones. And Brent, you were one of the last people, just like I was, to leave. And I shared the one card, and I'm actually presenting this tomorrow, was Be Bamboo. And you looked at it, and instead of just saying, thanks for your card, you flipped it over, you started looking at it, and you said, tell me about this bamboo thing. What does that mean? And we walked through it. And as a result, you were so generous with your time reviewing my website already, because you're an SEO marketing expert, without any need for anything back. It was just really cool to be able to meet people like you. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show. Even if we look at your website and we look at your LinkedIn, it says, be happy, be yourself, be your potential. And Brent, that's not typically what I see with SEO, social media, strategy, marketing companies. So first of all, welcome to the show. Let me stop talking here in a second. Why are you a gentleman who chose to have be happy, be yourself, be your potential? Other marketing companies are probably talking about digital strategy. And yes, you can talk about that. But what you chose to put on your LinkedIn profile, and I also think on your website, be happy, be yourself, be your potential. Why, Brent, did you choose something like that?
First of all, Bart, super nice to meet you. I kind of love the Be Bamboo thing. Like, really honored to be on your podcast, on the show, and just surrounding ourselves with great people is amazing. So thank you for that.
Welcome.
As we go down personal development and business ownership and finding out our whys, right? Like, what do we do? Why do we do it? And just getting a driving force. I had this mission statement, and it again goes back to how we met. We met at David Meltzer VIP event. I've been in David's program for a long time now, and I'm actually doing his SEO, and I'm just super excited about where that's going and his mission to empower 1 billion people
to be happy,
to just
right.
Understand things, right?
Yeah.
So the be happy, be yourself, be your potential actually was a few years back when I was first in the program. I was like, I'm going to do a mission statement. And in one of David's sessions, I was like, I'm going to read this mission statement. And it was like, it took probably 3.5 minutes just to read it. He's like, let's dissect it. Let's look at what that is. And it boiled down to, and I started looking at his mission statement and what I truly believed. And I'm like, I could boil this down really simple. This whole little soliloquy of why I'm doing business and what I'm about can be boiled down into be happy, be yourself, be your potential. And the being happy and being yourself is almost a congruence, right? You can really only be happy if you are truly yourself. There's exceptions, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. And there's seasons and reasons and all those things that happen in life. But to truly be happy is 100% a choice. And I believe that to my core, that you can choose to be happy. It is your choice, right? So that's one thing. And then being yourself is different, related, but different, right? What are you all about? Like being yourself. And then that aligns with like what you stand for, what your values are, your non-negotiables. And then your potential is sort of like the mathematical brain working, where there's an aptitude, right? There's a certain level of, I want to say, responsibility to perform it for the existence of mankind, really. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you here? So being your potential is maximizing your potential of the moment. So the next moment, you're gonna have different potential. So maximize that, keep on maximizing. And that's really the optimization part of it. And it does boil down to the business to an extent where it's optimization. It's doing the things.
And I agree with it. I agree with it wholeheartedly. And that's why I think you and I connected initially, because I could see your interest in becoming a better person. And I don't know if I necessarily have my mission statement, but I will say this, a couple of different things. We help people to feel better, get better, and do better, right? Feel better, get better, and do, which aligns with doing what most people don't do. And
Yep.
I'm not sure if that doesn't need to be perfect, but that's kind of our alignment, which also goes aligned with your thought of personal development, that you spend a lot of time trying to become a better person. Before we talk about marketing, I want to talk about you as an individual. And most of this is going to be about you as an individual, you as a professional, you as a personal development, caring type of individual, you as a giving professional, you as an entrepreneur. Your background, you studied, was it engineering?
Yes, mechanical engineering.
Okay. So you go mechanical engineering, and here you are now running JDS1 marketing with Jen, your wife and co-founder. Engineering does not necessarily seem to align with be happy, be yourself, be your potential. Were you always that type of person that was looking to be happy, find your potential?
It's a great question.
Right, because in engineering, we're thinking right mathematical and science and other things that I can't even describe in engineering because I don't know that world.
Thank you for asking that. I'm thrilled to actually answer this one. From an early age, I was interested in the right answer. I think as human beings, we want to get to an answer quickly. So math and science, there's really not a lot of room for negotiation. It's just, it is what it is. You can get there in a little different ways, but I really liked the final answer. And the reason engineering appealed to me as a field of study and ultimately moving on to a career in project management and things like that was because of efficiency, not necessarily effectiveness, which we all know there's a huge difference between the two of them, but efficiency based on how do you create maximum output for minimum input. And I loved that concept. In thinking back about it and understanding who I am now and the companies that we're building, it is a lot aligned with meeting your potential. Because if you're not acting efficiently and you've got wasted energy, the potential is not met. The engineering, it was a means to an end and a thought process of solving problems more so than anything else. And it relates, but it doesn't, but it does. Just me personally, more so maybe than the field that our business has now been orchestrated around.
No, for sure. And I want to go back to what you just shared. You were looking for answers. You wanted to get answers. So engineering through science and math enabled you to get answers. And then engineering also through development allowed you to identify efficiencies. So easy, I don't want to say easy, but better ways of getting to the end result, to the end solution, to solving the problem. Doesn't that also relate to your life?
100%.
Who you are, what, and
Yeah.
what is life all about?
Wow. Okay.
We're going deep. We're going deep.
That's the meaning of life, right? It could be being your full potential at what you're destined to do, cutting away all the, I don't want to say filth of the world, but cutting away all of the interference and nonsense that's actually just noise and just pulling out that inner core of what you're about is super powerful. And I think that's the meaning of life, right? It's doing what you're destined to do because you want to do it for the betterment of essentially the world, but yourself. You got to do it for yourself first, because no one's going to be really wanting to do any business with you if you're not aligning with yourself. And people see that from a mile away. You don't have to be an intelligent person to understand someone's not really congruent and they're just doing things. And they're usually people you don't want to be around anyway. That's a long-winded answer for what I feel is important to us. You know, as a marketing company, we really like to get to know the people, why they're doing it, what they're doing. Like SEO is one thing. Yes, there's some technical things going on with it. And there's a level of detail that doesn't have much to do with what the why is. No one really cares about that. But you can prioritize different things and you want to be shown in a different way and you want to be found for what you want to be known for. So there's priorities on things that you can actually attack, even in the SEO world.
It's so unusual. I'm listening. I'm also taking notes as to what you're saying. Do you think that you were always that type of person that wanted to explore happiness, to explore potential? You had shared with me on a prior call about building businesses, raising 6 kids, living in Hawaii, right? Having dreams in Vermont, finding Jen, and in kind of getting deeper with the aspect of purpose. Were you always like that as a person, even before you left Hawaii? Were you searching for potential? Were you searching for efficiencies? Were you searching to solve problems?
I'd like to think so. Right now, thinking back about where I grew up, a little town in New Jersey, I call it like a little soccer mom bubble, right? Glen Rock, New Jersey, great town, and but there's not a lot of exposure to quote unquote the real world, right? So you're living there, and I got to develop a very positive outlook on everything because everything was great. And that just never went away because everything is still great. Right. And I think a moment, and I'm going to have to go with sports, right? I was all very big into sports and the team and teamwork and things like that. So we had our baseball team in high school. We weren't the greatest. We were okay. And I remember the coach saying, look, you can all catch, you can all hit. We're not talking about fundamentals. This is a game of mental toughness.
Mm.
That's what baseball is. If you, as a team, refuse to lose, you will not lose. I was like, what? Like, but you gotta do the stance has got to be right. And you got to like, what's going on with this? And there was a certain amount of momentum that joining that team like changed, I think, a lot of how I go about a lot of things, right? You're putting the right people in the right places and you're making it go around and you're just riding momentum and a feeling. And we weren't the greatest team, but we just peaked at the right times, that there was just like this energy. We were all rooting for each other. And it took a lot away from that season. We made it all the way to the end, right? We did lose the final game, but it didn't feel like we lost.
Wow.
It didn't at all.
Maybe the skills were not enough. Maybe you were not the best athletic players, maybe not the most skilled, but the momentum and the mentality and the positiveness enabled you to be able to make it all the way to the finals. And to your point, you didn't lose, you made it to the finals.
Yep.
And what age was this? Right.
So this happened for 3 years in a row. So 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. So whatever that is, 15 to 18.
Okay. And I can equate that kind of to your business with JDS1 marketing, just my observations here, that how to do SEO, how to do digital marketing. You and your team are very good at what they do. There's probably people maybe with bigger pocketbooks with 1,000 people, not 50 people or 40 people. Maybe there's people that are located all over the world. Maybe there's people that are more skilled at what you do. Maybe. Tell me if that's a fair statement. Somewhere, maybe.
There's always someone out there that can eat your lunch, right?
Yeah, okay. But I believe your success is based on your refusal to lose, your choosing to be happy, your momentum, your mental toughness, and as that aligns with your co-founder, Jen, that you shared with me before, all of those things together, choosing to be happy, choosing to work with the right clients for the right reasons and really try to help them. My sense, there's things that you can do as a digital marketing agency owner that you can just check the box. Oh, we did this, we did this, we did this, we did this. Anyone can check the box. And this is what I'm getting to. I'm teaching a sales class later this week. And my sense is that there's a lot of things that we can do to check the box in life, in work, in our jobs. But the reality of it, the deeper purpose, how are we making people feel as a result? How are you making your clients feel? How are you making your colleagues feel? How are you making your partners feel? That's, to me, that's kind of what it's all about. And it's through this momentum and this refuse to lose attitude and this positiveness. So, Brent, going back to another question, are there some days in which you don't choose or you find yourself not choosing to be happy? And as my friend Kelly Bishop says, are you choosing not to pick positive? Are there days like that?
Of course there are. But as I'm going to take a line out of David Meltzer, spending minutes and moments and doing the cancel, clear, connect. Like you can feel yourself going into it. The longer you stay there, the worse it gets, right? So popping out of those moments, especially as a business owner, where it seems like the entire world is not really set up for your anything really to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an uphill battle most of the time, it seems like. And it's just recognizing that and then being able to reset, doing that as quick as possible.
Hmm.
So it's going to happen, it will, but it's the resetting, and I feel like that's been a strong thing for both Jen and I, is that when those moments happen, we can reset quickly with aligning our values, with aligning the specific task or thing or day,
Hmm.
whatever it is, just hitting the pause button on that.
And trying to hit it quickly. I like what you say. So I love that. So sometimes it comes from within, Brent, and
Yeah.
sometimes it comes from a spouse, a partner, a friend, a podcast, a keynote presenter, a book.
Yep.
There's so many different things that can help us to reset, and we need to keep on, I think, looking for that. So you went from managing $100 million construction projects to thinking then and building a digital ecosystems for people.
That's correct.
What was the thinking? Because I would not necessarily align the two, managing $100 million construction projects to, okay, let's do digital ecosystems and marketing and SEO. How did that transpire?
The thought that something more was out there. Both Jen and I came from heavy corporate backgrounds, right? We had these degrees and we were in corporate America for decades, right? And she was an associate director at Thermo Fisher. I
Mhm,
was a senior PM at a company called Genesis. And we had great jobs. We had good skills. We had people under us working for us. We were managing teams. We were managing projects. We were responsible for deadlines. We were communicating with the client. We were doing all the things that was expected of us, and then more, because we were just gonna outperformers, right? Because that's just the way we are, and that's how we got elevated into like the boss position, right?
mhm,
We could just stay there. It would have been great. We were happy, but something was a little missing when we were just working so hard and so many hours just for the benefit of these companies, that not that they didn't care about us, because they do, right? They're great companies. It's just we needed something more of ourselves, right? We have 6 kids, right? And we have a dynamic at home where we want to spend time with them, and this something needed to happen. All the hours we were spending away, concessions were being made, we weren't totally aligned.
mhm.
So we essentially started looking into our own business. And we kind of thought it was going to be in the financial world, trading and things like that. We started going down that path, figuring out how to build wealth so we can create the freedom for ourselves, because that's really what it was all about. It's just freedom for yourself. In doing so, we were getting into different programs and learning different things. We came across, a program about digital marketing,
Mhm.
and this is super cool. This is really, really cool. We can absolutely 100% deliver this. We can do this. So we went all in, invested a like ton of money in coaching, a ton of money in the software and the classes. Essentially, we like put ourselves into college again, right? With
Mhm.
level of learning and the skill set that needed to be developed, not only in the actual skill set, but then now in business, right? And in the mindset. And that's how I got into the mindset thing with Meltzer. Kind of
Yeah.
went in that. It's like, okay, you need to learn 2 things now. You need to learn how to do the thing, and then you need to learn how to actually market yourself and handle the business and all the things that. And so it just kind of came together like that, and it just developed sort of naturally
Mhm.
into a let's figure this thing out. This has a lot of potential, into wow, this is it. We enjoy this. We're helping people. We're helping ourselves. We're helping the family. Like, this is awesome. Let's go. And that's kind of how it developed from a straight up project management type situation into a company.
And thank goodness, because of your desire to reach your potential and that personal development element, that enabled you to be able to meet with new people, to be able to learn new things, to say, okay, I could go this route, we could go that route, but this is something that interests us. Okay. And we like it. Great. And it fits the lifestyle. And you almost back engineered or reverse engineered it because you were realizing, what lifestyle do we want with our 6 kids? We want to be able to spend time with them. We want to be able to work from home if we need to. We want to have our own flexibility. We want to work as hard as we need to work, not because someone is telling us that we need to work this hard. And look at what you all created. It's incredible. Congratulations.
Thanks, part. Thank you.
And Brent, can you explain? To our listeners, I was very broad in the description of SEO and JDS1 marketing. How would you just simply share to our listeners what you all do? Because I'm hoping that people are listening and would have a need to be able to reach out and to say, hey, let me work with Brent and Jen and the team.
So our big bang is helping people meet their potential. Our big promise is doing that by getting them found online.
Wow.
So getting found online, get found online, just 3 words. That's
Get found online.
That's it. Get
Okay.
found online. Strategic SEO, high performing websites, those types of behavior, paid ads,
Uh-huh.
any kind of online strategies. If it aligns with a vision, mission, a mission statement, or some alignment there, it's easier.
Yeah.
But get found online is what we do.
And what size clients are you looking for?
So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna pull up a Meltzer move here.
Yeah.
And just anyone that's not a dick.
Big or small, it doesn't matter, as long as you're kind-hearted and you have a good purpose in mind, right?
But in general, I mean, we can work with corporate clients on a consulting type basis, and we do have hands in the mix that can support. We've had people where we've just educated them on the process, hired and trained people, and inserted them into their company. So we're flexible, right? In general, it's a local business that doesn't have a marketing arm that needs strategic help online.
Yeah. So someone like most people don't. And
Most
thank you
people
for
don't.
and thank you for the nice ideas that you've already shared with Terry and I.
Oh, and I've got more coming. I'm gonna hit
Okay,
you up.
good.
I got a little checklist and
Uh,
order of
all right.
priority for you there, Bart.
I'm grateful. What do you think? I understand the purpose. And whenever we do these calls, the goal is to get to know you as an individual and as a human being, which I think the questions are aligning. And I think our listeners, one, they trust me, who I'm inviting on. And then two, it's very natural. The people that I do have on, they're good-hearted people. They're heart partners. They're nice. They're kind. They over-deliver. They do good things for the right reasons. That is you. But
Yeah.
how would you share with me or with anyone, how can people know that you're good? Like, how good is JDS1 marketing? How
So
good are you all?
we like to lead with value, right? We like to ask the right questions and listen. And it's more of a guide. Is SEO right for you? Do you actually need a website or a new website? Most people have a website, but you know what I mean. What here, by the way, here's the potential. If you were to run ads, if you were to run Meta ads, if you were to run Google ads, or if you were to run LinkedIn or TikTok ads, here's what is the potential of what would happen based on the industry and based on the click-through rates that we're seeing. We like to just lead with all the information, right? And that's great. Like, we actually are all about teaching and educating people. And if they can do it, that is wonderful, right? That is wonderful. If they need a hand with the assistance, that's wonderful too, right? And I think a problem with a lot of the SEO agencies is it's just behind closed doors, and like it's like what's happening, and so you get this report and you see these things and there's not a lot of communication. So the differentiator that we like to bring to the table is radical transparency. It's one of our 5 core values, right? Authenticity is number 1, compassion is number 2, unwavering pursuit is number 3, bold innovation with all the AI components coming up, getting shown in ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, all the open AI type situation. That's huge right now. That's a big search consideration. And obviously we gotta get you there, right? And then of course, then there's the radical transparency. So all those things need to align for us to do business together. And if they do, that's great. If they don't, then hopefully we provided enough value where we can help. And that's all there is to it.
And that works for you.
It
That
does.
has been working. What about that approach? You're not nickel and diming people. You're not misleading them. You're not falsifying anything. You're being honest and true and radically transparent. And you're giving away a lot of information, and it's coming back triple, quadruple times what you are sharing. That is just, it's remarkable, but it's also a good lesson for, I think, everyone listening, that
Yeah.
companies can do the right thing, that you can do the right thing, and it will pay off. You also had shared, I want to get to that in a moment, but the element of AI searches, and I'm just curious more than anything else, how can you make sure when someone searches who's a great motivational keynote speaker or who's the best sales trainer that's out there? I wanted my name to pop up, and it wouldn't allow me to do that, but it was bringing up other names, very famous names, the Tony Robbins of the world and the Jay Shettys and the Mel Robbins of the world, and it didn't pull up my name. Is that something that your team is working on? Is that something that is how does that even work right now? How can an AI tool suggest me without necessarily knowing me? How does that work?
So first of all, you've got to be a known entity, right? So where you're referenced elsewhere, it matters, right? Your business, your name, address, phone number, whatever information, just it's got to be on all the local entities, right? They call them citations and things like that. That's like I would say entry level. And
Mhm.
then beyond that, you have to have the right structure on your site, right?
Okay.
The right structure on the site. It's just high quality SEO. That's all the AEO is. The AEO stands for answer engine optimization, which
Okay.
is the things you talk about, the
Yeah.
AI reviews and the ChatGPT and the perplexities and the Geminis and those things. So your site structure has to be good,
Align.
right?
Mhm.
You got to have one H1 per page. You got to have your meta description. You got to align the intent of the page, right?
Mhm.
And then you've got to have local schema behind it and the coding. And then there's other things called some TXT files that tells the crawlers what to search for. And if you're not loading fast enough, they're not going to suggest you. And you've got to like do these things
Yes.
with the right behavior on your site as entry level. Okay, so you do all that stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, now you're in the game.
Yes. Now you're in the game. And what you just shared is exact reason for people to reach out to you. Knowing that there's a lot to it. And if I understood only one fourth of what you just shared, maybe our listeners are understanding one half of what you just shared, realizing I do need an expert and I want to work with people that are not dicks. Thank you, David Meltzer. And I want to work for people that have radical transparency and are authentic and caring and they believe in the purpose of what we're trying to do. It should not be difficult. And I'm so glad that you and JDS1 marketing and Jen have found that and are now sharing that with more and more people. You work with people that you want to work with, you do the right thing for the right reasons, and you get results. And you have fun along the way, and you help people reach their potential while you're reaching potential and raising 6 kids. Not too bad, is it?
That was a hell of a summary. Thank you.
Last question I want to ask you about before we share your contact details. Last time we spoke, you were sharing a future vision. It was not ego driven, it was ambitious, it was intentional. Would you mind? You don't need to share the number unless you want to share the number, but how is that helping you? Having a vision and long term thinking.
I appreciate that. So the number is what it is, and it doesn't really matter. What really matters is the intention behind it all, which is we call it the Vermont home and we
Hmm.
call it the Hawaii home. Even if the Vermont home happens to be somewhere in New England, it doesn't matter. And so that's our 2031 plans to have these two locations where we can bring people, our family, right? They can have a vacation respite and a safe haven, and it's just a place of access to really unwind. And then we'll kind of split time between those two places and then have it available for retreats or other types of things where people can enjoy the space while we're not in it. I feel that's going to add a lot of value. And like there's just other things like we want to build a big frisbee golf course on the thing on the side of the mountain and just stuff, right? But the reason that keeps us locked in is and then 2031 is enough running room where we can build the things we've got to build. And it's also the day our son is out of high school, our youngest of 6.
Mm-hmm.
So it provides us now a ability to kind of be a little mobile in, where we lay down.
Are you thinking about that every day?
I would say We try to, right? Because it's a why, it's a purpose, and when we get into the rabbit holes of life,
Hmm.
sometimes we get into maybe accelerating in the wrong direction, doing something we shouldn't be doing, and when that happens, it's because we haven't been focusing on all those things that are important, right? And influencing all those people and helping all those companies, because we're not going to be rewarded, and then in that case we can't help more and we can't provide more opportunity for others. And it doesn't have to be that hard, but sometimes we make it hard.
Brian, I love the answer, because what you did not say was, we want to do that so we can pay off all of our bills. We want to do that so we can retire and finally take a break. You said you are building a place, yes, for you all to enjoy as a family, but right away you said for relatives and family to be able to rest and enjoy a respite. And then you also then moved directly into a place to hold events and gatherings with like-minded people. It was not about you. It's about still giving to others. And I think those are the best intentions.
Thank
And
you.
that's rare and that's very unique. So thank you for being that type of person, Brent.
I appreciate you, Bart. Thank
For sure.
In the spirit of helping and caring and providing value, if any of the listeners, if a complimentary SEO audit would help them, I would love to perform that. All they got to do is reach out to me.
Thank you, Brent, for offering that, because what you did for me, I shared with our one assistant and also with Terry. What can we do with by ourselves? And then what can we hire to your team, Brent, to help us do it more efficiently, as it goes back to efficiently, and quicker and certainly better. And then last question, I promise, Brent. So small businesses, what if I own a lawn mowing company or a landscaping company, or would that be a good fit as well? Is it kind of for any business, large or small, that wants to be found online?
Lawn care is perfect. We have actually right on our website is one of our long-term clients is a landscaper, and he's got a raving review about us and all the things that we've done with him. General contractors, roofers, attorneys, a lot of private practice type situation, med spas, the physical therapy, a sole practice like medical profession that is good at their craft
Yeah.
but needs the support, right? Like that's been a little niche for us that we've had a lot of success with, and we love to help those kinds of people.
So cool. And the question that I asked for Brent was, I don't know if I'm big enough to be able to work with you, Brent. And your answer was, do you remember?
I forget the answer, but that's not the important part, right?
That's what you said. I want to help you because I like you as a person. That's
Yeah.
what you said, something along those lines. So
It's-
don't be fearful that you can't afford it, because Brent and his team will show radical transparency on what it would cost, and they're going to educate you either way. So really good stuff. And congrats also on your 5-star reviews off of your website,
Thank you.
Brent. Well done. I know you care and it shows. So
Thank you.
congrats to you and Jen for doing some great things. So Nickles, Brent and David Nickles, CEO, co-founder, JDS1 Marketing. What a pleasure to have you as a guest, and we'll continue the conversation soon.
I appreciate you, Bart. Thank you so much.